Welcome to Research in Technology class, TEC 5143-00, big one, right? Very good. So we are here today to talk about a topic that comes in 3 words. Tools, tools, tools. What is the title of ours?
Tools.
Together. Tools, tools, tools. And for every job, there is an appropriate tool. And as we do research in technology and see the tools of research, I asked my friend here, Ryan Naples. He is the former president of the construction lab. He'll tell you something if you like about the construction lab. And this construction lab deals with lots of things and activities. He can mention as we go. But without much ado, give him a hand and let him start.
Hi, how's it going? Just like Dr. Wadley said, my name's Ryan, and it's my understanding that he wants me to talk about some of the tools that I use in the construction lab every day, and just kind of talk about the lab itself, and maybe I can tell you a little bit about the research that I've done myself in the lab. But first, I'd like to just talk about some of the tools that I have out here today. This is a crowbar. Obviously, this is used for a lot of times demoing different projects. Like right now, we have to take apart this house right here that we had our construction class build. So we got to take, we're demoing the project, and a crowbar is something that is very helpful for things like that. And then here I have a tool belt, which is kind of accessory you wear a lot of times on the job as a carpenter. It can hold a variety of things, but in this lab, we have a bunch of kids who come here every day and they start working on this house. So the first thing they do is grab their tool belt, and what their tool belt usually holds is a hammer, which is for nails, used for nails or anything like that. Tape measure, which is just used for obviously measuring out whatever you need to, and then speed square. A lot of times you'll use this to find different angles of things that you'll be cutting, and it's also really good for a straight edge. You get a mark on there, so you want 15 inches, pull up 15 inches, put a mark on there with your pencil, just put the speed square right on there, and it's always good for a straight edge. 90% of the time, if you're in this lab, you're using it for a straight edge. You're not finding angles with this thing. And then it holds pencils, things like that. One thing that this one is missing is we also have razor blades in the other tool pouches. And then something else we'll move on to that a lot of people use in the construction field, especially in residential buildings and things like that, is we call this the nail gun. Nail gun, and basically it just shoots your average size nail gun. If you want to put up some lumber or anything like that, this is a real good tool.
Or it's for wood only?
Wood, yeah.
Wood use.
Yeah, you're not putting this through any other type of material. Maybe some plastics, something that's as soft as wood, but it's not going to go through metal or any ceramic type of material. It's a pneumatic. It's pneumatically operated. It means you hook it up to the air, and we use compressed air to drive the nails through.
That means running on pressure.
Yes.
Not on the electric supply.
Yeah. No electricity on that other than to turn the compressor on, but we don't have to worry about that. Here is another nail gun, but it's a little smaller. Again, it runs off of air, same as this one, but it's way smaller. Typically, you're going to use this type of nail gun for trim. It's actually called a trim. A lot of people just call it a trim gun to put your crown molding on, or your base plates. You're going to use something like this because it leaves a very small hole or indent in the trim, and it's used mainly for finishes on trim and things like that. And that brings me to these 2 things right here. This is a research class, tools. We're talking about them, and I see a lot of times in the field or just in this class or wherever you are, people confuse these 2 things. This is a drill, and this is an impact gun. Now, a lot of times when people say drill, they'll grab this, and that's totally fine. I'll say drill a lot, but I really meant this. Not a lot of people call it the impact gun. They both look kind of the same, but the way that this operates is a little different. When this is used mainly for screwing in, screws on, deck boards, or, putting on the drywall or something. You're using this to screw everything in. So it's basically, you call it a screw gun, some people do. But its proper name is impact gun.
What is this light that's appearing here?
Oh, that's just something that a lot of these new
Features or?
yeah, new features, with new tools. It lights up the general direction in which your screw or your target is supposed to be, so it's just a lot easier for you to see. If you're in a nook or cranny somewhere where light is a bit of a problem. And then this is a drill, and 90% of the time what you're going to be using this for is to, use a drill bit and drill into the wood. A lot of times people will call the hole that you drill in with this, they'll call it a pilot hole. You drill, one hole into your piece of wood, and that allows you to take this and drive your screw or anything like that through that hole a lot easier. It's called a pilot hole. You just put that in there first, and it really gives your screw a sense of direction, and it doesn't let it go anywhere else. It's not going to follow the grain of the wood to the left or right or whatever. It's going to go straight through that piece of wood. So these are all for mainly building things, construction. Another great piece of technology, or another tool that works really well, is called the circular saw or the skill saw. This is used for a lot of times just cutting any type of lumber that you need out on the job site. A lot of times you'll have horses set up, and what I mean by horses is just two. They just hold up your wood at a waist high level so that you can cut with your circular saw. And again, you're going to use your tape measure, mark it out, use your speed square, make your straight edge, and it makes it easier to follow with the circular saw. Another tool I brought out, I haven't talked a lot about or referenced at all, is called a sander or palm sander. And this is used mainly to get your wood down to a level of softness kind of that you prefer. There's a lot of different types of grit. Grit, it refers to the toughness of the sandpaper. There's 60, 80, 150, and it keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And so the smaller the number, the harder, or the less pieces of sand are going to be on that sandpaper, the less grit's going to be on that sandpaper, which means your surface is going to be more rough. So if I got 60 grit sandpaper on my piece of wood, it's going to be a real rough surface, as opposed to I've got a 220 grit piece of paper on my palm sander. It's going to be a real soft piece because there's more pieces on the piece of sandpaper. And a lot of times for staining things, staining a lot of your wood, like you want to do your deck, or you want to do just a small project and it's wood, you want to sand to at least 220 because the wood will accept the stain a lot better at that point. And so that's kind of all the tools.
So is it okay as soft? No, it will make it.
What was that?
Is it make it soft or clean like?
Yes. A lot of times people also use the
softener.
yes, exactly. It'll make the wood softer. A lot of times people also use sanders. They'll put a 60 grit on there, real rough, and they'll use that to clean off whatever's on that surface right now.
What we are calling it?
We are calling it the sander. This is a palm sander. There's many different variations, a belt sander, things like that, but this is a palm sander.
Kind of finisher.
Yeah, this is for more of your, type of finishing, things like that. A belt sander, which I have over in the corner over there, would be more of a something to like clean the surface of a wood. You'd put a 60 or 80 grit piece of paper on there. Some other tools that we have out here, clamps, very helpful for kind of more like woodworking projects per se, which is kind of a lot of what we do in here. On the side, we mainly learn how to build houses and frame and run plumbing and run electricity. But a lot of the little small woodworking projects that go on in here, clamps are a great way to hold two pieces of wood together that just recently got glued. And you hold them on there and leave it overnight, and it kind of helps it with that.
What is this piece you said?
This
Level?
This is a level. Actually, I don't know if I talked about that or not. Yeah, this is a level. You'll put it on a surface. It is 3 foot level. You'll put this, you know, anywhere, and you'll see your bubbles. Can everyone see these bubbles right here that are in the middle of these tubes? You want the bubble that's in the middle of those tubes to be in between the two lines, the two designated lines on there. That means that surface is level. It's flat. It's
So
level.
we are using that to check the flow level.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean? Like if it's like the bubble's all the way over here, you know, that means you're sitting up. You're too high on this side. So it's a little different. And then you can also measure the flatness, you know, at a 90-degree angle if you're vertical.
So you can make verticality also.
What's up?
To make verticality also.
Yeah, vertical or horizontal. And they got an easy peephole on the top there for you. You know what I mean? If you want to just look right over, you can see, you know, that you're level. It's kind of hard to see these right here, but these are actually another type of clamp, just like this, only it's way bigger, obviously. And that's kind of a lot of the, basically all the hand tools.
What are we doing here?
That I have there. Oh, it's Jake Scarlatti's project he's working on. He's trying to make a bench out of a bunch of different pieces of plywood. It's a design he saw on the internet.
Excellent.
But hopefully it comes out decently because it looks pretty cool. So we'll see what happens with that. Are there any questions? Is there anything that you see in the lab that you'd like to know more about?
Any questions?
I can tell you how it applies to construction industry or...
These clamps only have to bound or something else?
Yes, to bound things together. Yeah, that are more. 90% of the time it's something that I glue together or someone glued together.
I understand there are more than one type of saws, and I see some of there here.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more
So did you have
saws.
we have this one here?
This is a circular saw, skill saw. I also have, I just randomly brought this, but this is called a chainsaw. It's an electric chainsaw. It's a tiny little guy I brought from home, actually. But as you can see, you know, it's a lot different than your skill saw or something, but it basically kind of works the same. You know, it's a chain that goes around, you know, your extended, I don't know what this is called here, but it goes around that. And then it just kind of cuts. This is usually for like outside. You're cutting trees or limbs off trees. This one's in particular actually gets connected to a real long stick, and you can throw it up in the air and pull the trigger from, you know, down. I think it goes up pretty high, and you can cut real high limbs off trees, anything that's potentially hazardous like that.
These are the nails which are performing the cutting.
Yes. These little teeth.
Yeah.
All right here are performing the cutting, and there's actually specific tools made to sharpen them as well. But yeah, this one obviously needs to be a little tightened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stole this from my dad, brought it back down to college.
So you have your family is in the business? Or?
Yeah, I actually am the only person in my family to go to college. Everyone else in my family, my older brother went to college too. I forgot about that, but he's old. He's way older than me. But my mom never went to college. My dad never went to college. My dad is actually a union carpenter. My little brother is a union pipe fitter. Right now, he never went to college. Pipe fitter is people who put stuff like these small little. All this is something that my little brother would do. It's a pipe fitter's job. A carpenter is basically people who build houses, but he also builds scaffolding. He builds a lot of scaffolding in refineries. And then all my uncle's an operator. He operates heavy machinery, bobcats, backhoes, things like that. My cousins, one of my cousins is an HVAC. He's in the HVAC union, so he runs a lot of, he works a lot with heating and air conditioning. My other cousin is a laborer, in a union laborer, and he's running a lot of sewer and pipe and things like that. And so, as you can see, I didn't want to come to college. I was going to be in the union, but my dad kind of convinced me to get into college, and here I am.
Would be one of your thoughts or dreams to make a big company, and you hire all of these people.
That actually is. It is my dream. Me and my little brother kind of want to start our own company one day, and so hopefully we can get that done.
Very good.
Got to get some experience first, though.
Very good. Any questions to Ryan? Anything? observed? You have observed anything that you can ask him
You
about?
have any idea about your family or your parents? Why they didn't try to study or try to get degree?
How come they didn't try to get a degree ever? Well, my dad, I mean, that's the thing. Like people kind of look down on the unions and tradesmen, kind of like that. But my dad made a really good living being in the trades, and he never really just thought to ever go to college. He made a lot of money. He was little, saved up, and kind of was able to help me out with me going to college. He was more worried about his kids than.
Practically, if someone goes like that, field work, like this kind of jobs, different like plumbing, carpentering. So that will give them much benefit than the education.
Yeah, that's what they think. And I mean, the trades, and then they also have a lot of their own education. Like if you join a union, it's a school. You learn. You go to class 3 days a week. It's not traditional college like this, but you would learn how to frame.
Technically.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. You would learn how to frame. You would learn how to what kind of pipe that is. What's the thickness? How's that going together? And so I think it's pretty good living.
Very good, very good. Any other questions, if you like?
Wood is you use, like what kind of
wood?
Main 3 types.
Name 3 types of wood.
I mean, main 3 types.
Oh, the main 3 types.
Like
Pine. We use especially for lumber. A lot of times they use pine.
Okay.
White pine for
White pine.
Yeah, and it's just use your number 2 common white pine for framing. It's strong enough, and it's cheap enough. You wouldn't use walnut or anything for framing like that. Walnut's pretty expensive. So yeah, I would say pine's and then there's other ones, but I can't remember.
In a building like this, can you point out 2 or 3 different types of work inside the house? We can move there.
I can show you different things. It's kind of demoed right now. You want 2 or 3 different types of work going on at the same time?
Types of work that needs type of tools. So I have plumbing, for example.
Yeah, plumbing, a lot of times, you're obviously going to need your tape measure to measure how far your pipes are going to go. And then a lot of times, you can use a lot of different saws to cut a material like PVC. A lot of times people would just use a reciprocating saw, or more commonly known as a sawzall, to get your plumbing going on. And then obviously, your framing is kind of basically what I told you about a lot. You're going to use your circular saw to get your cuts on this. You're going to use your tape measure. Obviously, we use the nail gun to get a lot of this framing up in here.
Electrical work here.
Yeah, the electrical work. A lot of people ran a lot of different wires. Your main tools on things for running the electrical are going to be your wire strippers, because they come with cutters right on there, and your tape measure. So you have to measure out, how far your distance is from here to here to here, and then you're going to want to get, a little bit extra in on that, and then basically you just snip it with your wire snippers, and then you can see here, you just kind of snip it back. All this has to come out anyway, so you just kind of cut it, and then you strip the Romex back like that. They kind of already did it, and then you strip your wires, and you'll come out with your little copper like that. And you wire it onto. This was a ceiling fan. Here you wire it onto things like that, and then this is the ceiling fan. Sorry, there's a light here. My bad. And in this class, you'll learn a lot about you got to read wiring diagrams and understand a 3-way switch and a 2-way switch. And so there's a lot of tools that come into this, and it depends on which one you if you use the right tool, you're going to get the job done faster, and it's going to come together
This
a little
is a wooden house. Don't you have any safety things? This is a wooden house. Don't you have anything regarding safety?
Safety?
Safety alarms or something?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, it was just kind of a model house. We just wanted the students
Simple.
to understand how to
Frame.
how to understand common wiring, how to understand common real simple plumbing situations, and then obviously they learned how to roof. They put shingles on, siding, just more like that.
So it means for the structure only.
Yeah, yes.
Not for that one.
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of how it was. We also had drywall out for a while, and our students also put a tile floor on. And
Go ahead.
we had a couple other students do stairs. So it was just to get
Feel of
a
something.
feel
right?
for that. Yeah, not necessarily, putting your alarm system in or anything like that.
Very good. Give him a big hand.